Yeah, man. So a lot of people have been asking me, for a long time, people ask me all the time, what does the broadcast machine look like, or what does the mind control look like? So, it's the devices that the gang stalkers use. It's pretty much the only devices, other than their phone and a virtual device that they use as a broadcast. So, um, the mind control looks about like this hat I'm wearing. So if it comes around the side of the head a little more, um, and basically that's it. And it's got a wire. It comes down and has wristbands. They call that the stabilizers, and then it comes down to another wire to a black box that's like the battery slash receiver, or maybe just be the battery. I'm not sure, but they usually clip that onto like a belt or something that they'll wear. Even if they're naked, they'll wear this so they can have the mind control and clip that battery onto them. I've seen one and it has like a little green light, a little LED light on the side, like a meter, like a power meter or something like that. So that's the mind control, and it emits EEGs into the mind of the person wearing it. Depending on who they connect to, they connect to multiple people. That's how they connect to targeted people, to mind rape target person. That some of them sometimes they have eye covers, okay, that'll come down and cover their eyes, and it's an optional thing that they can use or not use, because sometimes they're just connected to other gang stalkers or other people, and they want to have mind control sex with them. So what that means is they have the other person's feelings and senses emitted into their mind. So while they're being intimate or while they're with each other, they can feel each other's senses and know each other's thoughts. Now, if they connect to a targeted person or remote neural monitoring, then they would use the eye covers usually, and so they can see the view in their mind of that person that they're connected to. So it's almost like they're living virtually as that person, because they'll have that person's thoughts emitted into their mind at the same time as seeing that person's vision with the eye covers on. They don't have to use the eye covers, but I imagine seeing two things at once, it gets confusing. So, and oftentimes they'll just be having sex with people while they're on mind control like that with the eye covers on. So I've seen in a lot of cases through broadcasts that these girls don't even know who they're having sex with, and they just have sex with whoever's having sex with them, and everybody just kind of wanders around in a mind control hive, and they all just fuck each other, and that's literally how it gets that nasty. It's very good technology. I mean, it works perfectly. If somebody in the group of the connected people has an orgasm, it makes everybody have an orgasm. I've actually made them shit on themselves before while they were connected to me, and I took a shit. So that's the mind control headset, okay? And they're always using that. That's what they always use, okay? Even when they get on the broadcast machine, they always use the mind control headset, because it receives inward. It's like an amplifier, okay? So that's what they use, and they call it a mind control, and it's an EMF headset, okay? That's the one device. The Now, let me one more explanation about that thing. With the mind control on, they can broadcast a hologram of EMF hologram and connect to it to live virtually through it. So they could be having virtual sex with holograms, with another person's hologram, and that's what they see in their mind with the eye covers on, while somebody else is having physical sex with them, and they're all connected to each other on mind control. So it gets very confusing. Half the time they don't even know who the hell they are or who they're fucking or anything else. So that's how it works. And the range is very limited to connect to a broadcasted hologram with the mind control only. Okay, very limited, within probably 100 feet or less. I don't know this exact specifics, but I know if they want to connect very far, they have to be on the broadcast machine. So that's the mind control. And in the broadcast machine, I called it the machine to begin with, when I could tell like they were telepathic, and I could tell that they were on some kind of machine, putting voltage through them when they were broadcasting to me, talking to me or whatever, and gangs talking to me. And so I started calling it a machine, and it's stuck. So we call it the broadcast machine or the machine. So they call it that. I have a profound effect on what they say because a lot of half the stuff they say is stuff that I started, but they call it a broadcast initially. And what it looks like is, if you've ever seen those bowl things that go over your head in a salon, like the hair dryer things, it looks like that. Okay. They'll have like a wooden chair with the broadcast thing rigged up over the top of you, okay, and they sit in that chair with the broadcast thing over the top of them, and that broadcasts them outward. It's an outward broadcast thing, okay, and the mind control is inward, and the broadcast is outward. It's an amplifier as well, so they use that to connect to the hologram broadcasts at a further distance, some couple 100 feet or maybe a couple 100 yards, maybe even up to like a mile or a half mile or something. I'm not sure the specifics again, but that's how it works. Now, usually in this wooden chair, there will be clamps built onto the chair, so the girls will be able to have their legs clamped out, okay, while they're on the broadcast machine. And the broadcast machine makes you in a catatonic sleep state. It makes your body drowsy into a sleep state, and you're on mind control. So you just kind of fall into a virtual reality where you don't really know what's going on with your human self. Meanwhile, your legs are clamped up in these stirrup things, in these leg clamps that they have built onto the chair. And all the guys will take turns just nutting and the girls and just having sex with them. I've seen Emily and these other girls leaking, just nasty, just piles, just disgusting. I've seen them in the chair. They call it a sex chair. I call it the rape chair. Okay, is where they rig the clamps and the broadcast into a wooden chair. Okay, I call it the rape chair because they're always sleeping. And I've seen a guy having sex, fucking the girl on the chair with 5 or 6 guys in line, and they just wait in line, okay? And they just take turns and go one after another, after another, after another. That's how they do it. And sometimes these girls actually have sex with 20 or more people in a day or in a session on the broadcast machine while they're not even really coherent. So they really have no idea what's going on with their physical body. They can watch. They can watch themselves as the broadcast that they're connected to. They can stand there and watch themselves, and they're okay with this. Okay, so I call it a rape chair because they're out cold, and half the time they don't know who's fucking them. But at the end of the day, they know what's going on, and they can always look in their neuromonitoring, or they can watch, and they know what's going on, and they choose to continue to do this day in and day out. Okay, Antoine Davis is the main broadcast house around here, his house, and that's where Emily Godwin and Kimberly Altwell and a couple other girls hang out over there with 20 guys and do this broadcasting all the time. Okay, there's also some straps, okay, that sometimes they'll wear these straps across their body, and those carry a light voltage through them, and that's to amp it up more when they put the voltage to their body. And that's when you, like, if you listen to some of my recordings, when you hear that's their bodies, their telepathic noise coming from their mind while the voltage is going through them, and they can't help it. So when I start recording, it's just in the recordings all the time. When they use these electrical straps, that's to get more distance, more range out of the broadcast to go to a farther distance, to still be able to control the broadcast and see back from it and feel back from it with these artificial EEGs through the system or whatever. So that's how it all works, and that's what these devices look like. Also, when they're a broadcast, when they're living virtually as a broadcast, they're hologram EMF broadcast, and you can feel these broadcasts. The real holograms, it's a thick broadcast, okay? And you could feel them if they're by you. You could feel them. If they touch you, it hurts. Feels like you're being electrocuted, or it's just painful. But these broadcasts can have a virtual device, a virtual phone broadcaster. So when I say they make a virtual device in Android Studio, that's how they use it. So then they can control their telepathic and broadcast settings even as a broadcast while their body's asleep with the virtual device. They can also use their regular phone to log into this virtual device. It's usually hosted with AMPPS somewhere on the net, and they can just log into it. So what they'll do is they'll like broadcast from Antoine or Marcus' house to over here by my house, and then connect to my Wi-Fi with their virtual device. And then that's how they're on the internet to be able to control the settings on the neural monitoring as a broadcast. So when I say they're using a virtual device, it's literally a virtual device, but it's a broadcast and it's physically there. I've actually had one of them come up and hand me this virtual device, and I could see it in my hand, but it's hard to hold. It wants to slip out of your hand because it's just waves, but it's literally there. So I had one that was supposed to be Emily's phone one time. Ricky handed it to me, and I laid it flat on my phone. And my phone screen was off, and I actually turned it on, and it was a different looking setup, but it was an Android, and it was a virtual device, and I actually had it turned on and started to be able to go into it for a second, and I think they unbroadcasted it. So that's how it all works. I know it sounds really bizarre, but those are the devices that they use, and that's all they use. Other than that, they just connect everything with the neural monitoring and the satellites broadcast, everything within the electromagnetic field, and that's the infrastructure, and that's the devices. And all you need to do is be on the neural monitoring site and have a mind control, which they say they get those for $38, and I think the broadcast is more like a couple hundred. So they're not very expensive. $38 for a mind control, and they get them from people on the neural monitoring site, and everybody around here has one. They all have them. I caught Travis in my bathroom with one on one time when he was over here broadcasting with Emily. I've seen them at a distance with them on, and I've seen them in reflections with them on. I know exactly how they look. I seen one up close when I was at this guy's house, but it was covered up. But I seen the wires coming out, and then I seen the little box that it was connected to with the green little power meter lights on the side of it. I asked him about it, and he acted real shady, and then basically they wanted me to leave. So. But I'm always trying to infiltrate to get this information out to everybody, because these gang stalkers are horrible, evil people. So that's the devices they use, and that's how it all works, and that's what they look like. And I swear to God, it's the truth.
The second event was on August 12, 1973, when midway through the race, a voice told him to purchase it. He pitted the Budmore car and announced his retirement. As happens with so many athletes, retirement did not last long. However, he never found the success he had enjoyed earlier in his career. Bobby began his racing career at Hickory Speedway in 1949 at the age of 17. He ended his career at Hickory Speedway on August 13, 1977. He died at the age of 45 doing what he loved to do, but he died far too soon. Bobby would have been so proud of this honor.
Backstage now with Ryan Newman. Ryan, I know that you're a student of so many subjects, the history of NASCAR included. As a current driver, why is it so important that we honor some of the sport's greatest pioneers as we do today?
I think it's an appreciation for me personally and all the things that they've done for our sport. From winning races, poles, leading laps, just all the stats. It's just it's an honor to be in my position to talk about some of these guys, and I've always loved old cars. I've always loved old race cars, and this is an awesome way to tie it all together.
Thanks for coming, Ryan. Bobby Isaac, the newest member of the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
I don't care. I don't care what's out
Don't
there.
move the camera. Don't move. Don't step on the road. Don't step on the road. Just look at the camera. Don't move it. Just look at it. You don't see him.
If things
Just
are,
watching him move.
if things are moving, it's because of the wind, honey. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. That's him.
I see things moving, but it's the wind.
I watched him climb to that spot. Please believe me. I think he's got him right. I think that's what he's got. I think he's like in a stance like that.
I can't see it, Harry.
Granny, I know you can see this right there.
I know.
It's
I
a
can't
bird.
see
He's
it.
kicking his legs. They can hear us though. So when I say something,
You see stuff I don't see.
he's looking to the right. He's sitting on his butt with his right legs kind of advanced out, but not all the way. He's got his right hand holding his right leg at an ankle. He's moving around. Granny. Damn it, man. This is frustrating.
I know. It is. Put it up, baby.
No way, Granny. Damn it, man. I'm gonna have to take matters in my own hands, man. Hey, man.
Don't get mad at me, Kevin.
Well, I'm not. It's just like no matter what I go to the extremes to show you, you still just won't believe me, and I'm showing you actual looking.
I know I'm seeing, but I'm not seeing anything but trees move, Kevin.
Trees don't wear blue clothes.
I see the blue.
Okay. I watched. Hey,
Even if there's somebody out there, they have a right to be there.
my rifles are talking. There's several people out there doing that. When I first said something about him, he started moving. That's okay. Remember I said he was standing straight up, looked like you see his legs. He had his hand pulled over to see his legs. Okay. When I said something about him, he started climbing around and moving. Okay. And then when he could, I could tell by how.
So everybody's been asking me like, how does this all work? Um, so let me explain it, how it all works. Okay, gang stalkers have access to neural monitoring. All right, that's just means it's on a website that they have the link to. Okay, so when they get the link to this website, they put their self on neural monitoring. I got a little notification. All right. So they put their self on neural monitoring. That means they know their location. They have access to the website. They put in their location and they scan themselves in from the satellites, from the neural monitoring satellites. Okay, you could just scan yourself in just that easy by having the location. All right, so once they have their self on neural monitoring, um, then they're artificial telepathic. Right, that means um, they have the control panel to all the telepathy. Um, it's a neurological control panel to yourself. You have the control panel for the telepathy, for the EMF broadcasting. It shows your view from your. It shows your view, okay, from your mind, meaning what you see with your eyes, as well as what you imagine in your mind. All right, if you're dreaming, it still shows your view. It shows. It has a readout of your thoughts, your everything. If it's something to do with your neurological self and your senses, then the neural monitoring has that. All right, so they put their self on neural monitoring.
That makes them artificial telepathy, but they have possession of their control panel, of their neural monitoring, like a profile. Just like, um, just imagine if somebody had your Facebook profile, all right, but it controlled everything to your neurological self, and they could use it as a weapon against you. Okay, so if they add people by location, if they know your location, then they can add you into the system. That would make you on remote. Okay, that's what they'll call it. They'll say we got him on remote. That means you're on remote neural monitoring. That means somebody else has added you without consent or without knowledge, and now you're on remote neural monitoring. So from there, they have your control panel. They can see your view, okay, your mind, everything that you see in your mind, everything you see with your eyes, everything you think, it's all there. Everything to do with your neurological self. They also can broadcast EMF waves around you to watch you off of. They can broadcast EMF waves to assault you with. They can broadcast a hologram of you to some other place. Um, just like they do with their self. They broadcast the EMF holograms. They use the EMF headset to connect to these EMF holograms, and they can basically live virtually through these holograms because the system has this hologram broadcasters, and they're controlling it with their mind, so they're feeling this artificial EEG back from the hologram. It's like a representation of themselves. They basically live virtually through these holograms. Okay, they can broadcast a hologram of a person that they have on remote neural monitoring as well. um, a lot of what they do is orgies. They do mind control orgies on this EMF headset. um, that means they connect to each other, right? And they can control the neurological sensors that they would like to share with each other, and they can connect to each other like that neurologically. There's some owls back here. Um, but they can connect to each other neurologically, all right, and feel each other's senses, and they can control which senses that they want to share like that. Okay, because the neural monitoring decodes everything. It decodes your view, your mind, your thoughts, your senses, what you feel, what you think, everything. It decodes all of that. Okay, so on the neural monitoring, they can choose which settings they want to share with other people. So they use this EMF headset to connect to other people on neural monitoring, other gang stalkers, and they have what they call EMF fucking. All right, it's mind controlled sex where they connect to each other neurologically and they can feel each other's senses, and they have sex like that. They can also broadcast the holograms and have virtual sex and get back the artificial EEGs from that. Okay, so it's like they can have virtual sex with holograms by just sitting there on this EMF headset. All right, they can add anybody they want to just by knowing your location. Okay, they can add their neighbors, they can add you, they can add your neighbors, they can add your brother and sister and your mama and daddy and make you think that everybody's involved. Your neighbors and your brother and your sister and everybody else, but it's not any of them. Okay, it's the whoever the gang stalker, probably your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend that has you on remote neural monitoring, all right, that added everybody around you to keep you confused. All right, because if they have somebody on neural monitoring, they can use their voice as the setting. So they have to be in the system to be in the system. You can't hear somebody that's not in the system unless like the president that has 1,000 videos out there that they can build a profile of how this person sounds, and their like a profile of their English language or whatever language, okay, to build that profile. But otherwise they have to have that person on neural monitoring. It's not like they don't just record what you hear. It's not how it works. They don't record what you hear and make a voice setting out of that. I mean, it's probably possible, but it'd be limited. What they do is they add whoever you're close to neural monitoring, and they just don't target them. So they just have them on neural monitoring without targeting them, just to have that profile to be able to use those settings against you, and also to know, if that person believes you when you tell them all this crazy stuff that's going on or whatever. They like to add everybody around the target person, whoever they're targeting. They'll add your mama and your friends and your brother and everybody else, um, just to be able to use that. I got guys Smiley the Gang Stalker hit me in the head with microwaves right this second, and the person that has possession of my neural monitoring gave him access to it. Their whole gang stalker crew is about, it's about 20 of them that I've been telepathic with that have had access to my neural monitoring. Okay, I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but I've been doing this for many, many months. All right, and I got thousands and thousands of SoundCloud recordings out there. I got a whole bunch of SoundCloud accounts where I explain it, where I record telepathic. I've got YouTube videos, couple hundred of them, and I've been doing this for a long time. All right, and I've been consistent with what I'm saying, and my understanding of it continues to get better, and I understand it more and more. So, um, if you've been following what I do and what I'm saying, then you know by now that I'm not a crazy person. I'm not schizophrenic or anything like that. It's not anything like that. I've had psychological evaluation because my family thought that I was going crazy, and what they found out is that I'm not crazy. Okay, I have no prescribed medications and no diagnosed uh, mental disorders, no schizophrenia or anything like that. All right, I had a whole panel of doctors, all unanimously agreed that there ain't nothing wrong with me. All right, I've been gang stalked, I've been wrecked in vehicles, I've been shot. Okay, these gang stalkers that I say it is, I promise it's really them. I swear to God, on my eternal place in the heavens and Jesus and everything else. I promise it is who I say it is, and it works exactly how I say it works. Okay, so that's how neural monitoring works. I'm going to put a nice little article up tonight too because I've been getting a lot of questions lately. If anybody wants to know, my name's Kevin Christian. I'm not a fake TI like a bunch of people try to say, but they're EMF gang stalkers, what they are. That's what they call themselves, EMF gang stalkers. Everything's EMF. They'll be like EMF. They swear they're so cool because they can broadcast all these holograms and mind control and everything through EMF. All right, that's the same thing if EMF waves read your EEG. All right, that's how it decodes. Everything works off of EMF waves. All right, I think these assaults, these EMF microwave assaults, are like they negatively charge the area around you, and then they hit you in a spot with the positive charge that they want to assault you in, right? And then it sucks in all the energy from around that area, from your area. You can see my videos on how they watch you off EMF waves, and you can see all kinds of stuff about it. But this video's run long. Check out my other stuff. I explain a lot about how it works. I know what I'm talking about. I'm certain of what I say. I don't, if I say it's a theory, it's a theory. All right, but if I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm talking about. And I promise you, this is exactly how they do it. And it's all on a website that if we get that link to that website, it's over with. We can expose it, and the government will be paying every TI person, a whole bunch of millions of dollars, and all these gang stalkers go to prison. And there'll probably be a lot of politicians and big heads at the corporations or whatever that's involved will be going to prison too. So that's what's going on. This is Kevin Christian. Holla.
Yeah, all right. I want to make a quick video. I'm going to try to talk fast because I don't want this to load all day, but I'm going to talk about the different ways that gang stalkers broadcast EMF. Okay, one is they broadcast subliminal telepathic EMF as mind control. All right, you don't really hear it, but your mind is hearing it, and it's very recordable. That's what I record most of the time with call apps, call recording apps. I call myself and I intercept the signal that's coming to me, and it's usually gang stalkers engaging in some sort of sexual activity and broadcasting it to me, the target person that they have on remote neural monitoring. And it's usually going to be like an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend that's gang stalking and is broadcasting that to you, because that's a big part of what gang stalkers do. Okay, another way they broadcast is EMF holograms. As outrageous and ridiculous as it sounds, I promise it's true. I have videos of it on YouTube of these hologram people broadcasted, and what they'll do is broadcast a hologram of their self, and they control it, they mind control it, right, with this EMF headset they're wearing, and they use their neural monitoring to see back from it. It's going to have black, silvery type of eyes, reflective eyes on the broadcast. Okay, all these EMF waves are reflective. Light can't go through them. They cast shadows. If you have a green laser, you can actually kill the broadcast. I had a Black James right out here one night, and I hit him with the green laser, and that's when I found out that the laser grabs a hold of him. So I was actually dragging Black James EMF hologram across my yard, and this light off the back of my house was making a shadow. It was shining, and it wouldn't go through the Black James broadcast. Okay, so I could see the shadow. That's how I found out that EMF broadcast made shadows. So they'll have a person standing in a strategic location to make it look like somebody's guarding your door with a gun so you can't come out the house. It's all about terrorizing a person that's targeted on remote neural monitoring, and they use everything against you. They know what you're thinking, they know what you see, they have your view, they have your thoughts, they're mind raping you, and they use all of this against you to terrorize you while they broadcast these EMF holograms. Okay, and they have virtual sex with these EMF holograms. I've seen several of these EMF holograms having sex with each other. Okay, I don't think that they're having sex where they're really at. I think that they're just on the headset watching their neural monitoring, and they can feel back the senses like an artificial EEG coming back from these broadcasts. So they have virtual sex with these broadcasts. One thing they like to do, a big part of what they do, is to broadcast their self, these holograms, having sex or orgy, group sex or whatever on a target person's bed. Right, so they'll do this while you're sleeping, and I even try setting up. Sometimes it's taking up too much time and gigabytes, so I quit doing it. But they'll, because they'll do it while you're sleeping, but they'll broadcast these EMF holograms. They want to have in their EMF porn movie, their little EMF group sex porn movies that they make. They want to have the target person in the background, so they'll have their virtual sex on the target person's bed. I know it sounds ridiculous, okay, but I'm telling everybody this is what they do, and in time it's going to all come out and it's going to be exposed, and I'm way ahead of everybody else on knowing what these gang stalkers do because I know who they are and I know how they do it, and I can see EMF. But they'll do their group sex orgy, and then they'll say, kill that motherfucker, and they'll all jump onto the target person, and it'll soak into you. All right, it's painful. I've had Black James and several of these other gang stalkers jumping on me before with their broadcast of people, and it hurts. It's painful. I was trying to get them off with the green laser, but once they're soaked in so far, it's like they're stuck to you. They stick to you just like they'll stick to the green laser. I don't know if they stick to any energy source or what, but they stick to people. When they jump on you, you can't get them off. It's a broadcast. It's a hologram. It's nothing you can really do. You can pull them off with a green laser if they're not sunk too far into you. Okay, another way they broadcast EMF is they'll broadcast like a movie that they already have. In my case, it's a group sex porn movies that they all do. Okay, and it's an ex-girlfriend of mine and a bunch of other people that broadcast at me. They'll have a group sex movie of themselves, and then they'll broadcast that to me on remote neural monitoring. All right, and that's a movie coming through the air, and I'm the receiver of the movie. It's meant as a psychological assault and a neurological assault. Okay, so the way you can record that, I've got some on YouTube, check them out. The way you can record that is if you're videoing through glass, off of the reflection of a light, like if you got the glare of a light coming into the glass, then the glare on the glass, if you get that reflection and film it, that's how you can see the EMF videos, and that's what I've been able to capture, these EMF movies, these EMF porn movies that they're broadcasting to me. Okay, another way I know they can broadcast is they broadcast EMF waves to where you're at, and like off of a reflection. I got a glass door behind me. They could broadcast EMF waves off of that reflection, okay, and see you. They receive the signal back from those waves to see you off of the reflection. Now, I don't know what they're viewing from on their end, maybe some other reflective surface where the waves are coming back to them. But when they're broadcasting off of a reflective surface looking at you, you can see back to where they are. You can see them watching you off of their reflective surface. So it's a two-way thing. When I've seen them, I've seen like people sitting in chairs on the EMF headset. I've seen some naked girls walking around. It was some kind of EMF orgy party, okay, and they were watching me on neural monitoring with these EMF waves off of reflection. I've seen it off of bronze plaque. I've seen Emily sitting in a chair one day off of a car window. All right, I've had an Emily. The only reason I know what Emily looks like is because I've seen Emily broadcasted only. I've never seen her in real life. She broadcasted an EMF hologram and sat on my bed one day and space age. All right, yeah, I know, but we talked for like 20, 30 minutes and then she disappeared. They can fly. I had Kimberly, a miniature Kimberly. They can broadcast herself at different sizes. I had a miniature Kimberly flying next to me one day. She was sitting on my shoulder and I was like, that kind of hurts. I used to try to video them. I was like, can't you fly or something? So she started flying next to me. It was really kind of cool, actually. But I've tried to record them many times, and I didn't know for a long time that you have to record them through glass to get them on the reflection, because it's EMF waves, and your camera's not just going to pick up EMF waves. So I've tried to record them 100 times. Most of the EMF videos I got are accidental, because I accidentally was filming through glass and I didn't realize that that's the key. That's the key to filming EMF. Okay, most of what gang stalkers do is EMF broadcasting. The artificial telepathy is just a little portion of it. Okay, EMF broadcasting is probably 80 or 90% of what they do. I call them artificial telepathic EMF gang stalkers. They call themselves EMF people. They don't call themselves gang stalkers or telepathic people. They call themselves EMF people. That's what the gang stalkers call themselves. Okay, I learned all this from experience and from hearing them and whatever. You can't make all this stuff up. It's ridiculous. I call them an EMF gang stalker orgy cult, because that's what they do. They broadcast EMF. They have mind control sex on these EMF headsets where they're connected to each other. They connect to target people and broadcast to these people. It's psychological assault. It's a neurological assault. They physically assault you with these waves. They're artificial telepathic EMF gang stalkers. The crew that's targeting me is led by a man named Robert Dwayne Lackey of Stockbridge, Georgia, and my ex-girlfriend is the one that possesses my neural monitoring. She's joined up with their crew. So the whole crew is about 20 of them that I've had targeting me for a couple years now. And, that's what they do. They put people on remote neural monitoring and they terrorize people. They wreck people's lives. And they do it mainly by broadcasting EMF. I'm making a telepathic recording. I got my phone. I got my phone, calling my iPad, and let's see, I'm recording on Audacity. I got Emily and Casey coming through on my telepathic frequency from the remote neural monitoring, and that's being intercepted by my phone. It's coming to me and it's being intercepted by my phone. So I want to do a video, and I think this is kind of necessary. So, I want to talk about remote neural monitoring, and I want to take it right from the beginning. A lot of people are very confused about what's going on, and a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, and a lot of what's out there is propaganda, and a lot of the posts come from gang stalkers that have access to neural monitoring, and that's just a fact. So let me start out by saying this. You could be on remote neural monitoring without knowing. A lot of people are. A lot of people are on remote neural monitoring and don't know it. So, secondly, you don't have to be a government agent or some CIA operative to gain access to neural monitoring. All right? My ex-girlfriend has access to neural monitoring. She put me on remote neural monitoring, and I don't know when. She also put several other of her ex-boyfriends or guys that she was seeing on remote neural monitoring. She also gave neural monitoring to a lot of people. She has a lot of people on remote neural monitoring, and she gave it to a lot of people. And a lot of those people put a lot of other people on remote neural monitoring and gave it to a lot of people. Now, if you have it, then if you have access to it, basically it's like a profile. All right, you have a website that has neural monitoring. Now, I'll tell you this too. If somebody wants to put you on neural monitoring remotely, all they have to know is your location. If they can lock onto you, your specific EMF signature frequency as a human, and they can lock onto you, then the satellite system, it's all satellites, no towers or any of that. Those are actually for cell phones. 5G has nothing to do with it. Cell phone towers have nothing to do with it. It's all satellites, and it's the broadcast uses the Earth's magnetic field, EMF, for the infrastructure. So nothing else is needed. Just the satellites, that, and you. You're the receiver of a broadcast, and it receives you as a broadcast. Your brain waves, so your EEG decoded your senses, all of them, everything. So if somebody has your location and they have access, then they can put you on it. So I know people that were targeted that got it and joined the gang stalkers. Okay, there's no structure within this gang stalker thing. There's maybe some places there is, I don't know. But in my situation, these people are all just on neural monitoring, on mind control. They can put whoever they want on it. There's nobody that oversees anything. There's no leader in their group or anything else. There's people that have stronger minds, and it's a mind control system. So if they all connect to each other, then the most hard-headed people that like to control things and the smartest people are going to be the ones that control everybody else on mind control. Now, all they have to do is take their little mind control headset off, and then it's done with. They can control their own settings on this website, on this profile on this website that has all of the EMF broadcast settings and all of the artificial telepathy settings. It's not V2K, it's artificial telepathy, which is part of an EMF broadcast from remote neural monitoring. So they can have you on it, and they don't have to be talking to you. So you can be on remote neural monitoring. They can be watching you, or they can be broadcasting to you and receiving you without you even knowing. And most people don't know. So if they have you on it and they're talking to you with artificial telepathy, because listen, I was on way before I knew I was on. I didn't know that I was on remote neural monitoring for a long time. And some strange things were happening. Looking back, a lot of things make sense now. But at the time, it didn't. And when I found out that I was on remote neural monitoring, I mean, I didn't even know what to call it, what was going on. It's just, I knew that there was some telepathic stuff going on, and that I could hear people, and I could see broadcasts, and I knew these people. So they're not CIA operatives, and they're nobody special. Okay? The 15-year-olds 3 houses down have it. All right? Antoine on Carter Court and his 15-year-old little brother and his daddy, they have it. My ex-girlfriend has it. Marcus and his 58-year-old brother and his brother's wife and some other people, and Emily, and Emily is their niece, and her mother and the rest of their family, they have it. They all have it. They call it mind control because it is. It's EMF mind control neural monitoring. So artificial telepathy is a form of mind control. Now, it's not gonna just mind control you. Some people can be controlled more than others. If you think for yourself, it's just a nuisance and it's just an annoyance. But they can attack you with broadcasts. So a good place to start is to get an EMF detector. You can get one on a phone, an app, or you can get a real one. And there's good ones and there's crappy ones. So I would suggest if you have a smartphone, get one on your phone right now. And if you have an iPhone, they work a little better than Androids, but they all work as long as they have the magnetic field sensors in them, and most phones do. All the newer phones do, but iDevices seem to work a little better. But there is EMF detectors and meters on the market, and they can detect an EMF broadcast. And I have hundreds of videos of that happening. All right, so these people that are on mind control with each other, they connect to each other, and they can feel each other's senses. They can feel what each other feels, and they can sense what each other knows and feels. So a big part of what they do, gang stalkers and mind control people, a big part of what they do is mind control sex, where they connect to each other and have sex, and it usually turns into an orgy situation, and everybody who's on mind control together just have these big mind control sex parties. Well, if you're on remote neural monitoring, a lot of times it's somebody you know or your ex or something like that. It's almost, I've not talked to anybody that, except for confused people that think it's a CIA thing and they're really that cool. It's just normal people are being watched by the CIA and gang stalk. The CIA doesn't gang stalk people. The NSA, the CIA, the FBI, they know about this, of course. They know about this, about EMF broadcasts and neural monitoring, and of course they have to know about it. They're turning a blind eye to it. All the elite people know, and the movie stars know, and the millionaires know. They know about it, and they have it. They have their neural monitoring. They have control of their settings. They have possession of their profile on this neural monitoring website. Okay? I promise. I promise this is exactly how it works. So they don't let people gang stalk them because they have theirs. And if you have yours, you can do the same. You can stop people from gang stalking you by turning them off. And you can choose who you would want to connect to, or how you would want to use your broadcast settings. You could broadcast to who you wanted, that it was either on remote or consented to it, and let you connect to them, or you could just broadcast. They can broadcast. They can broadcast their minds and what's going on with their life to you as just a broadcast. So, but another thing that they can do is they can broadcast an EMF hologram person and connect to it and be that person, that broadcast, that hologram. They can live virtually as a broadcast. They wear a mind control headset. They call it a mind control. It's an EMF headset, and it emits EEGs into their minds. And if it's a broadcast that they're connected to, then it would be an artificial EEG to simulate what was going on with that broadcast. If it was another person, then they can live basically as you. On neural monitoring, they can see what you see. They can feel what you feel. They know what you think. They don't know what you know, but they know what you think. They know about the active thoughts that are going on. They can know that, but they can't know what you know deep in your mind unless you think about it. That said, if you want to enter in a password or an alarm code or dial in your safe code, you can't do it without thinking it. So it's impossible. So if you have accounts, they can get in your accounts. They use Facebook and they use Instagram. They take the APK files, the app, basically the app, but the file edition, not just like what you would click on an icon on your phone, but they take that package and they put it in Android Studio or Xcode and they alter it and they add the neural monitoring into those apps, and then from there they can pass that app around to whoever wants to access your neural monitoring. And in a lot of cases, that's how they make money. They can sell access to your neural monitoring. So then people can, if they buy the access to your neural monitoring, they can do live streams of your life. They could gang stalk you, or they can pay these gang stalkers to access their live stream. So that's the way that they make money. And if you're a very interesting person doing a lot of crazy stuff, or if you can see broadcasts, or if you interact with a lot of artificial telepathic gang stalkers, they love to broadcast that, and that's what they do. And they can use these hologram broadcasts that they live virtually through to attack you. There is no, I'm sure somewhere there's a microwave gun, most likely on the top of a Hummer in Saudi Arabia at a U.S. military base. That's where you'll find a microwave gun, but you're not going to find a microwave gun in your neighbor's attic. They don't have those. Gang stalkers don't have microwave guns. They have EMF broadcasts, and they have a mind control headset that they can live virtually through a broadcast, and they can attack you as that broadcast. So they're attacking humans with a broadcast of themselves that they're living virtually as. That's the 100% truth. I swear it to be true. The direct energy weapon thing is propaganda that's going around. Yes, the military and somewhere in the world there exists direct energy weapons, but gang stalkers do not have them. The feds would be all over that shit. I promise. They don't have them. A direct energy weapon will melt your leg off in 2 seconds. A real one that the military has. They don't have those on Howard Circle in Jonesboro, Georgia. They have access to neural monitoring, and they have a mind control headset and a higher powered home edition that's very similar to the mind control headset. They call a broadcast. They call that the broadcast. And that's the only devices that they use. I think the broadcast costs a little more, but I think the headsets, from what I've heard before, that they get them for like $38. I know that all of these people around my area that are doing this have the headsets, and that's what they do. And that's what they're addicted to. They're addicted to mind control. So this technology is leaked intentionally. The idea is to get everybody on mind control, and whoever doesn't have access is being targeted. Even if you don't know it, if you're on neural monitoring, they're targeting you with a broadcast, and you may not know it. They may just be broadcasting to your mind, and it's like a subconscious broadcast. And I'm sure it can cause some influence and or some mood changes and stuff like that, because you could sense the same system that you're on. When they put you on it, they're on it. So you can sense what they are broadcasting to you. If you had the headset, you could get it completely. I've seen the headsets with little eye covers, because they have to have that, because if they're connected to you and they can see what you see in their mind. So it's like they're you. They can see what you see. So they don't want to see what you see and what they see at the same time. So they use these eye covers to cover their eyes that are built onto the headset. So, and I've seen it without the eye covers too. So that's so they can see what you see without a confusion going on with multiple views in your mind at the same time, like layered stuff, because that would be confusing. But that's what they do. That's what they do, and that's what they're addicted to. And that's the grand scheme. That's the grand scheme. From what I've learned with personal experience, I believe that EMF broadcast can harvest energy directly from the air and the atmosphere. So if this were to get out, then you could use broadcast to power things. and you wouldn't have to burn oil and pay power companies and all of this type of stuff. So it's part of the grand scheme. A lot of people have some sort of what you might call a mental disorder or depression or some kind of psychological thing. And a lot of these things are just personality traits or that they've created names for, or that they, or it could be symptoms of the broadcast and being connected to people and going through things that you're not aware that you're going through. So in in turn, you got pharmaceutical companies that are making 10 or 20 billion dollars a year, and that's part of the grand scheme. There's probably a lot of lobbyists doing things with politicians to make sure that this doesn't move very quickly as far as resolving this problem of remote neural monitoring, because it is the plan. So are they the ones doing it? No, but ultimately yes. The government and the billionaires and all the people that have access, yes, they are the ones doing it. But yes, street level normal people with no money and no big houses and no big cars and just kids up and down the street and regular people, meth heads, crackheads, just normal people, all kinds of people have access to neural monitoring. You don't have to be anybody special. I knew a guy that was being targeted, and after me and him talked, he got put on it by the same girl that put me on it. And after me and him talked, she gave it to him, and he joined them. And now he's a gang stalker. I know of several other, like probably 30 or 40 other people that I know she gave it to. I know of like 100 people that have it, and then I know of many people that are targeted, because this is what I do. I talk about it and I expose it, and people contact me every day. I get 100 messages a day of people going through exactly the same thing and want to talk about it and understand it. So this is just like an explanation of what's going on right from the beginning. When you get on neural monitoring, you may not know it, but if they start talking to you with artificial telepathy, then you're going to know it. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not sure if they're talking to me. You know if they're talking to you because you hear it out loud. It's not some kind of thing that you sense in your head. The broadcast is, the subliminal EMF broadcast that could be coming to you is that. But the real life artificial telepathy, when they turn those settings on, you hear it out loud, and it's not mistakable or there's no doubt. When you hear it, you hear. I talk to these people all day, every day, and I know who they are, and I know where they are, and I know how they do it, and I'm telling the whole world. And I've talked to 1,000 other people that go through the exact same thing. So they may or may not have your artificial telepathic settings turned on, but if you're on neural monitoring, they are probably broadcasting to you. They can live virtually as you. If you're being intimate with your significant other person, then they can be you, and it's just like they're doing that. So it's a very invasive thing. It's becoming more widespread every day. When I first started doing this, there was like 20 groups on Facebook. Now there's like 500 related to remote neural monitoring. And most people still don't even know the term EMF broadcast, but that's what it is. It's a broadcast through the magnetic field of Earth. And it's all mind control, but most of the time it's not a situation where people are being mind controlled. It's more like, say, my thoughts could be emitted into your mind, and you can know what I know, or know what I'm thinking, and know how I feel. And when two people do this together, they feel things together, so it becomes sexual a lot, and what you feel is what I feel. So orgasms will be unanimous and everything else. So people become very addicted to this, and that's what mind control is. Mind control is not really just making somebody do what you want them to do, like controlling somebody like that. It's the form of mind control that this is you're receiving somebody else's thoughts and senses, and that's what they love. They love this mind control. Most of them love to be mind controlled. There is some that like to just control other people, because you can control other people with it, but it's in most cases, when they're connected with these headsets, it's consensual, and the people want to be mind controlled, and that's what they're addicted to, and that's what they love. But if you don't have the headset on, you're not really getting mind control that much. And if they're talking to you, you could tend to want to talk along with them word for word, but you can break off of that. And so artificial telepathy is a form of mind control. It's a broadcast to your brain, and people say you just need to ignore it, but it's impossible. It's a broadcast directly to your brain, and you are receiving that broadcast unconsensually. And all of this stuff is going on. EMF broadcast tends to go where you focus. So, not the telepathy that's all coming to you, but if you have a subliminal broadcast coming to you where people are connected to you and they're broadcasting to you from where they are, doing whatever they're doing, that broadcast is designed to be seen subconsciously and to be subconscious manipulation in your mind, and it's meant to be subliminal and enter your thought process subconsciously. So it goes where you look. It goes where you focus because it's designed to be seen. Just like subliminal advertising that was outlawed a long time ago for like a movie theater with a single frame of like popcorn in a video that's too fast for you to see it, but your mind sees it. So it's suggestive and it's subliminal and it's illegal, and it's been illegal for a long time. But my phone's going dead. The broadcast is designed to go where you see it. So when you look at clouds, the clouds can evaporate. Okay, so that should tell you what this broadcast is doing to people and to this earth and to our weather and everything else. I got a lot of videos about this stuff, a lot of stuff about EMF broadcast. Check out EMF broadcast explained, or some of my stuff about mind control. I've got over 1,300 videos. I got 15,000 tracks on SoundCloud. My name's Kevin Christian. You can hit me on Facebook Messenger, or just leave something in the comments, subscribe. This is your introduction to remote neural monitoring. Yeah, man. So, how much money do gang stalkers make? This is one of the biggest misconceptions about gang stalking. People have this silly idea that there's some secret government program that employs gang stalkers and police to run around and harass ordinary citizens. That's not how it works. I promise you. Okay, I know 50 gang stalkers, and I've been on neural monitoring for many years, and they've been gang stalking me for several years, like 4 years. Okay, I've been on neural monitoring for 20 years, since 1997 when I was a kid in school. Okay, so how much does a gang stalker make? Well, it depends. How cool and interesting is the targeted person that they're gang stalking? That makes a huge difference. Okay, if you're really cool and you could do all kind of cool stuff, then a lot of people are going to want to watch you. Okay, so that means a gang stalker's live stream is going to be really popular, so they're going to make more money. Okay, that's how they make money. Okay, there's no government program doing this. Okay, it's just not happening, I promise. This technology is leaked, okay, to street level intentionally for us to find it and for the inevitable to happen, for people that get it to become engulfed in the power and lost in the mind control. They love it. They love having neural monitoring on other people remotely, remote neural monitoring. They love to feel mind control. They love to have other people's thoughts emitted into their mind. They love to feel other people's feelings. They love to have sex on mind control, connected neurologically to other people. They love to broadcast. They love to do EMF broadcasts. Okay, they love to live stream their gang stalking of you. Okay, and in many cases, it's an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, and they love to broadcast themselves having mind control sex with other people to the targeted person, which is their ex. Okay, to the mind of the targeted person. And there's a lot of ways to get videos of that broadcast. All right, so another question: how sexy is the gang stalker? Because a lot of what they do is sell porn. Okay, they sell EMF porn, which is porn between two broadcasts, so it's virtual. They also sell mind control porn, which is porn between people wearing a mind control headset connected to each other neurologically on neural monitoring so they can feel each other's senses. Okay, they also sell porn of broadcasted holograms with the targeted person in the background. So how sexy are you, and how sexy is the gang stalker, and how cool is the targeted person? And you know, they sell this on the underground. So how good is your promoting skills without getting caught? How good is your marketing? Okay, that's all the factors of how is a gang stalker going to make money. This is how they do it. They put you on remote neural monitoring, and they live stream gang stalking of you on Facebook Canvas apps, and they sell these subscriptions to the live stream to other gang stalkers and to other mind control people. A lot of these people are not gang stalkers, so don't forget about that. They're just EMF people that broadcast, and they're mind control people that like to be on mind control. They're not really gang stalkers. They probably do have some people that they just watch and connect to, but they don't like to hurt people like some of these gang stalkers that try to harm me every day out of jealousy and envy. Also, you know, these girls, two of them I've dated, and several of the other ones either like me or I've liked them or something like that. Okay, so they're all doing mind control sex, group sex with mind control headsets on and broadcasting, and sometimes both at the same time. Virtual sex while their bodies are being raped on a broadcast machine. So they're having physical mind control sex at the same time as having virtual sex through broadcasts. Okay, and they broadcast it to me on my neural monitoring. So you know, that they sell the subscriptions to that, and they sell the porn movies from that, EMF and mind control, real life and broadcast. Okay, so you know, how many websites do they have? How many targets do they have on remote neural monitoring? How many people are targeted individuals because a gang stalker put them on remote neural monitoring? How many other gang stalkers want to do live streams of the same target and split a profit share with the person that has that targeted person on remote? So these are all the factors to how much money can a gang stalker make. I think a gang stalker can make a pretty good living, more than you can make at a normal person job, by doing gang stalking and mind control porn and EMF porn, broadcasting, and gang stalking. I think there's plenty of money to be made in all of that, if you're good at it, or if you've got cool people that you're targeting, or if you've you know, or if you're just a real sexy ass girl or a sexy ass guy. Maybe they make money off of me. Okay, Emily Godwin, I caught her broadcasting the link to somebody one time. The thing was a Yandex site, and it was where she was charging $37.90 for somebody to have virtual sex with my broadcast, with their broadcast. Okay, and I don't know who she would have on the mind control controlling their broadcast. Probably Marcus, her uncle, or Ricky Patton or Robert Lackey is the people that I've heard that do me when they broadcast. Okay, but she was selling, she's not even the one that has me on neural monitoring. She's got some kind of API built where she can have neural monitoring on me, hosted off of the main neural monitoring that my ex-girlfriend has on me. So they're all making money off of me. And you know, I did a lot of cool stuff with broadcasts when they used to broadcast the holograms at me, and I could mind control them very well. So you know, and I could see the broadcast, so my live streams were blowing up, and they were all making money off of that. So, you know, all these gang stalkers would want to do live streams, and my ex-girlfriend would make a cut probably from each and every one of them that she allowed to do a live stream. So they're all making money off of that, live streaming, gang stalking, neural monitoring from the targeted person's view and from the view of EMF broadcasts, this EMF view without cameras. They're also making money from the EMF porn of the broadcasts, and they're also making money from the mind control porn. So gang stalking has a lot of different factors, and it's all with remote neural monitoring, and that's how they're making money. So how much money they can make depends on all of those factors, and there is no government program other than the elite satellite owners to leak this technology and sit back and watch the inevitable happen from a bunch of tools.
The main thing that is like my biggest goal is to build myself to a position that I can destroy them legally, socially, in every kind of way, and solidify this horror scene that's been my life for the past decade. And they are completely obsessed still. There's the one main guy who's always like you would call him like a narrator or something, like who always has something to say. And the communications has become almost zero. Like I don't really acknowledge them anymore, but they still have their little comments, and they still say their little things, and they still try to inject themselves in my every moment and become part of my existence all the time. They want to become relevant throughout my day, always, and it gets less and less. And I used to interact with them a lot, like all day, every day, and you know, I found myself sometimes even falling into their storylines, and that's what they want, because they're putting on this show, this remote neural monitoring show, while they're on broadcast. So they got their broadcast and they're doing a show. And when I say their broadcast, well, like a hologram broadcast, like a figment, like a thing, you know, actual broadcast, like a hologram broadcast, literally. That's what I'm talking about. And then they live stream that, okay, you're the target person, they're on your neural monitoring, and they're all around you, and they can get on your body and do whatever they want to do and harm you in very horrible, painful, mutilative type of ways. And then they do these live streams and they put it out on the internet or on neural monitoring sites, and on like they actually will put it out on like social media, but it's like a social media that they've made like a customized application of something like Facebook, and then they host that version on their own servers. And then if you're not somebody that's one of them, you wouldn't have access to it unless you somehow stumble upon it, which I have before, stumbled upon those kind of things where that's how I know they do it. That's how I know they do it. Mainly, Facebook is like the biggest place that I know of for sure that they're doing neural monitoring live streams. And I know that they're making custom applications using the developer side of Facebook and hosting it themselves. And so it's not always online, and they can have it to where only their people can find it, or only it would have to be up at a certain time, and you would have to have your system configured in a certain way to even be able to access something like that. So the learning process is important. I quit trying to convince people way back, maybe like 2017 to 18, probably 18 for sure, when I completely quit trying to, because it was like 13, I'm hacked, everything's hacked. 14, weird stuff is happening. 15 is starting to be like remote neural monitoring, broadcast, artificial telepathy. the torture had already started in like 13. I didn't even know what it was at the time. I didn't know that there was somebody with controlling a broadcast and physically attacking my body with broadcast waves, that they were controlling, like virtual, like neurologically controlling, living as a broadcast and literally like jumping on you. That was one of the things that the guy, Black James is what they call him, and his real name is James, and he's a gang stalker, and he's very close to the girl that has my neural monitoring, or had it for the longest time. Another irrelevant person to me. I wouldn't know if that person was even still alive, or if they were still a drug addict, or still unemployed, or still hanging out with the trashiest people in town. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know for many, many years, because these people become irrelevant to me, and I wouldn't care anything about them. Anyway, this guy James was very close to the circle of people, and he was the main gang stalker on my channel for the first few years, couple years, like the first year and a half or something. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I forget what the point I'm trying to make to you. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just jet lag and gang stalked all day, and trying to just get all of these thought processes out there. But the main thing that's concerning me right now is that they're already got virtual machines on my new iPad. They're all acting crazy, and the torture is becoming a big thing again today, and it's very frustrating. So that's my update for now. Yeah, man, it's October the 7th, 2024, and I'm going to talk about a few things with devices and gang stalkers, like your cell phones and things like that. So today I had an issue. Actually, the issue started a couple days ago on Saturday, so it's Monday now. And what happened was my iPad, okay, it's pretty much new. It's like 3 to 4 months old. So it's still under like a factory warranty as far as like the hardware. Um, so as long as like you don't break it or drop it in the water, or like crack your screen or something like that, like internally, if there's nothing wrong with it visually, like they would have to fix it if something went wrong with it. Okay. This is not the first time I've had problems though, but for this particular problem, um, a lot of times I will turn off a device. If I'm not specifically using it right at the moment, I'll turn it off. Plus, I have multiple devices, and I don't need 2 or 3 or 4 devices on, because that gives your gang stalkers more opportunity, more hardware to do what they do with, like as far as accessing the internet and running their live streams. So don't get confused thinking that like they have to have your devices to do what they do as far as artificial telepathy or physical broadcast attacks. They do not need your devices to do any of that. They need your device for the processing power and the connectivity. Okay, because imagine if they're going to access neural monitoring, they have to access it through the internet. Okay, the internet is linked in with this satellite broadcast system for EMF broadcast, neural monitoring, mind control stuff. So they have to access physical devices on some level, whether it's their own, if they're at home, or if they're on mind control on broadcast, and they need to integrate that through your physical devices. The physical devices are very necessary, not for gang stalking, not for remote neural monitoring, but for making the live streams and the content that they're creating with broadcast and gang stalking of you. So this show about your life and them gang stalking you, they need the physical devices and the connectivity to make all of that happen. Okay, if they're going to stream, they're doing stuff to you with their broadcast, and they're going to stream that. If they got you running around town trying to escape the Illuminati and thinking everybody's in on it, or wrapping yourself up in aluminum foil or whatever's got you looking crazy today. They need to be able to put that out there, and particularly with a live stream. Just like if I was to come onto a social media platform with a live stream, okay, they do the same thing, but they're doing it on neural monitoring, like where they're having neural monitoring stuff hosted at, and they're live streaming neural monitoring with broadcast stuff. Okay, so they need physical hardware to do those things. So the point is, I don't like to leave 3 or 4 devices turned on for them to have more access, and more hardware, compute capability, more connectivity, and all of that can basically enable more gang stalkers to come on and do more live streams. You might have one doing their live stream, or you might have 20 all doing live streams, and the more the worse for you. Not only for the extreme violations of privacy, but do you really want 10 gang stalkers bothering you at one time? It gets kind of frustrating with a bunch of them won't shut up and doing stuff to you physically and talking trash and trying to pull you into their narrative so they can create this whole thing for their live stream. So you don't want to do that if you don't have to.
Yeah, man. So, I was checking my messages, and I get a lot of messages from a lot of targeted people, and it dawned on me, like, really that I should discuss the different phases of becoming on remote neural monitoring and the different psychological effects. Now, I just thought about this like a minute ago, and I was like, you know what? Let me make a video about this. It's a little more seasonably cool here in Atlanta, so that's good. It really shouldn't be 90 degrees in the middle of October, but it seems like it has been. So it's more seasonably cool now, and it feels good out here. So I can recall looking through my videos, and way before, this has been going on before I started doing YouTube, and even before I started doing the SoundClouds, I started doing them in 2016, and this actually started in like maybe a couple of things happened in like 2014, and in 2015 things really started happening. In 2016 it just blew up, complete full-fledged artificial telepathy, EMF broadcast, everything. So I was going through some of my old videos, and it's really crazy, like when you first start hearing people. In my case, I knew the people that I was hearing. I knew some of them, so I started hearing these people talking to me, and I was trying to figure out what was going on and how everything worked. And I was making some videos back then, and I can recall one particular video where I was really flaking out. All right, and I wasn't making them for YouTube, but I'm gonna go back, and I never would have posted this video, but I mean, because it really makes me look like a lunatic. But and I'm sure they'll probably use it against me, but I want to post it anyway to give everybody an idea of how it was for me when I first started to hear people artificial telepathic, and became aware of the broadcasts and these type of things. So I'm gonna post the video, and I believe my credibility is in good standing now, and I don't have to worry about that, but maybe I do. I just really don't care. I got enough videos out here explaining what's going on, and everybody can see that I'm calm about things, and I'm trying to keep a level head, and I understand what to do about it. Now, at first, it's very difficult because you don't know where the sound is coming from, because they can make it come from wherever they want to. In my case, the first thing I started hearing was the EMF broadcast that I'm not supposed to hear, and it was dispersing through different things like electrical motors of my air conditioning system and water faucets and things of that nature. So that was before they actually turned anybody on artificial telepathy for me to be able to talk back and forth with, just like a normal conversation, if you want to call it that. before that happened, I was hearing the broadcast dispersing through things, and I was actually recording it, because what you record, it's much easier to record the EMF broadcast, and that's what you really don't hear out loud. It's the subliminal things that are coming to you on a subconscious level. It's the people that are connected to you that are broadcasting to you subsequently from being connected to you. And they don't have the settings activated to where you're supposed to be able to communicate back and forth with them. But in that situation, those are the more recordable type of things. So I can be sitting here talking to Guy Smiley the Gang Stalker or somebody and recording at the same time, and what I record might be Emily or somebody different, because she's connected to me and it's recording this EMF broadcast. But and I've recorded some of the stuff where I'm talking directly with them, but it seems to be much more difficult to record that. So, and I don't know why, and I'm still trying to figure out. It's got to be the wavelength, the type of waves that it's embedded into. And I say embedded because, say for instance, you've heard me make the example of different people have different frequencies, okay? Just like a different cell phone has a different frequency, and you don't hear my cell phone calls and I don't hear yours. And if you're listening to V103 here in Atlanta, you don't hear Hot 97 Hot 107, because they're on different frequencies, okay? But in that frequency, okay, if you listen to V103 on your radio, you don't hear other stations, but what you do hear is music, okay? And the music is at many different frequency levels, okay? You got bass thumping in the trunk, you got trebles and snares clapping and all kinds of shit going on. So those are different frequencies embedded onto the V103, the 103.3 radio wave frequency, okay? So I'm sure the telepathy has to work the same way. When you broadcast to a human, whatever their frequency is, then I could hear somebody with a deep voice or a high-pitched noise or whatever. You could hear whatever. It's different frequencies that you could hear on your channel, on your frequency, because it's an embedded signal. Now, I guess maybe I should look into more of how that works, but I feel like there's more important things. So the more important things are to come out of phase one. Come out of phase one where you're mind blown. Where you're mind blown and you're very confused, you're very vulnerable. They're doing live streams and you look like a fool. You believe everything they say. Don't ever believe anything they say. Don't believe what you hear. You can hardly believe what you see. If you hear them coming from the right of your house or the left of your house, they're probably somewhere else in their living room sitting on their couch, and they can control these settings and make it seem however they want to make it seem. So you really can't say, oh, I know this neighbor's in on it, I know that person's in on it, because they can put somebody else on neural monitoring and they can use that person's voice setting and make you believe that it's that person. Okay, they might make you think your parents are in on it. They're probably not. It's your parents. Why would they do that to you? They probably give it to you. And then you'd be EMF, artificial telepathic person that may or may not decide to be a gang stalker. Now, let me make myself real clear about this, okay? All of the people out there, now I'm going to be the one, okay? I'm going to be the one. So everybody just get used to that idea that I'm going to be the one to make the truth known, and hopefully I'll be the one to finally get neural monitoring and spread it around like wildfire, because everybody who thinks, oh, well, I didn't do anything to him, so when he gets the neural monitoring, I'm going to holler at Kevin and see what's up. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not supposed to holler at me. Sorry. If you sat here and watched me get tortured and watched my life get destroyed for years and years, don't think you're about to holler at me. Okay, I don't care if you're not a gang stalker or not. If you paid any attention and you had access and you didn't give it to me, you might have a problem. Nobody's gonna be on remote getting gang stalked anymore. Okay, I don't know if the richest people in the world who own satellites and these governments and everybody else are gonna dispose of me. But hopefully, if they do, my legacy can live on, because I know already I've got a lot of people on the right track, and that's what I want. That's what I want. Okay, I'm not trying to keep any secrets. If I find out everything and how it all works, then you find out everything and how it all works. Okay, so they should have gave me the neural monitoring before I became this jaded, because that's what it is now. So now they don't have a way out. Their only way out is to prolong this process and buy as much time as they can by attacking me and my accounts and my ability to expose them and spread this information. So that's what they do. That's all they can do. And they're all lost on mind control, and they're on drugs, and they don't have it together. And I'm smart, and I got a lot of people paying attention, and they can't watch everybody. And it's just not going to work out for you guys. It's not going to work out for you gang stalker people. And I love it when you come on here and call me an idiot and then delete the damn comment. But it's still in my notifications, but you make yourself look like you had a second thought, like, oh, never mind. I don't want Kevin Christian going in on me, calling me a gang stalker, because he probably would. So, come out of phase one. Come out of phase one and stop letting them make you look stupid, okay? The tinfoil hats and all of this type of shit, it just don't work. If it appears to work, it's because they like you to look like an idiot wearing a tinfoil hat. So when you put one on, they turn off the shit that hurts, okay? Because they love you to look like an idiot with a tinfoil hat on for their live stream. That's what they thrive on. They make money off of this stuff, okay? So if you're watching my live stream, if you're connected to me when I go out on Saturday night and tear out the dance floor, and you think that since you didn't attack me, nah, you're a mind rapist. You're going to pay the price too. If nothing else, God's going to get you. Whatever God it is, God's going to get you. Okay? Because you can't say there's not some sort of a good evil factor of this whole thing, and you're not on the right side of it, and you know it. So sit there and lie to yourself. That's what you're good at. Lie to yourself. All right? So when you come out of phase one, and you start to understand what's going on, and you can calm down and realize that you have to do something about it. The police are not going to help you. The government is not going to help you. I've contacted the Department of Homeland Security and the CIA and the FBI and the Georgia State Patrol, and I've been to the local police, and I've talked to detectives, and I've done all of this many a times, okay? You name it. The NSA, I put in messages and contacts to all of these people, all of these entities many times, okay? I learned a long time ago, 2 years ago, that nothing's going to help. None of that's going to help. They all know about this, and they're not, look, they got the lobbyists at the pharmaceutical companies making $20 billion a year, shooting them $1 billion, saying, make sure that we don't pass any laws that get these people on the right track to discovering what's really going on, because they need everybody to have a psychological disorder, and hearing voices could definitely be considered a psychological disorder. So they'll put everybody on dummy pills and make money off of making everybody dumb. And when it was their technologies or their plan with the use of this technology to get it like it is, and that's how they want it. So you have to do something for yourself. All right, you got to do something for yourself. So when I say that, I mean follow my lead. All right, figure out the best ways you can come up with, or the ways I've told you to record artificial telepathy and EMF broadcast, audio and video. All right, make accounts about it and put it out everywhere and talk about it. Come out public and talk about it. Talk about it calmly, respectfully, and intelligently, because if you act like some sort of crackhead, then obviously you're not going to be very credible. So you have to understand the basics of what you're talking about and what's going on, Stay calm. They're not going to kill you. They're not going to kill you. Everybody's watching. Everybody's watching, and they just want to live stream. So I'm going to put out some videos of myself in phase 1. All right, so once you go through phase 1, and then you get your foot in the door and get planted down on phase 2 and start to put some content out there and make it known what's going on and make everybody start to think, well, maybe you're not crazy, maybe you know what's going on, but stay successful at your normal life. Don't let these people have you laying in the bed all the time. Get a job, go out, go to the club, go to the game, go to the bar, go to dinner. Do something as much as you can. Talk to people, talk to a lot of people, okay? Talk to local people. You don't have to tell everybody this is going on. I mean, in my case, people find out. I can't give you my Facebook without you knowing that something's going on, but it's okay, because on one hand, it hinders my ability to have social relationships. At the other hand, it enhances my ability to have social relationships. I've met thousands of people, and you know, if I wanted a girlfriend, I could probably have a girlfriend due to all of this publicity and everything else. So it's good and it's bad. All right, and then at this point, I'm trying to enter a new phase. Really learning the advanced things about how they do it, which is the internet coding part, and you know, the psychological part becomes more and more advanced. Maybe I'll go through one day. I'm not a psychiatrist or even a psychologist or anything else, but you know, that's another thing I'm interested in, is psychology, because psychology could be solved with neuromonitoring, because you can know how people think. So if somebody's got a real psychological disorder, at the very least, you could diagnose it precisely and understand it fully. So, you know, this technology is used for all the wrong reasons, and by all the wrong people, apparently. I'm amazed that nobody's come out and said something, but I'm sure somebody will decide that they want to switch up to the good side and quit being all kind of Darth Vader style with their life, because it's not going to end well, and you know it. So right now I'm going to enter into this new phase. I have been, and I'm going to maybe start to maybe I'll start to write down the different things to catalog or categorize the different phases of neuromonitoring and kind of where I'm at with it. But maybe that's something for the future, because I'm on a roll right now. So this is something I'm going to talk about more. This video is getting a little long, so everybody feel free to hit me up on Messenger, Kevin Christian, or you know, the YouTube comments or whatever. Like my page, subscribe, check out. I got about 1,000 videos. I got about 15,000 SoundClouds. A lot of them are me talking too. I was doing this, me talking about this before YouTube. So I started on YouTube by doing the cloud evaporating. There's no clouds today, but I'm gonna do some more of that too, because it doesn't stop. As long as you have the broadcast coming to you, you can focus on certain clouds, or you can focus on clouds and make them evaporate, even gigantic, huge ones, and have people going, what the hell? It's really strange, and it proves that it proves that neuromonitoring and EMF broadcasts affect the weather and the atmosphere. So that's what's going on right now. I'm going to dig into this topic even more, and I still want to get into my list of things that I've been made a gigantic list of videos I want to do while I was away, and so I'm going to get into that. But just hit me up, and look out for that me on a psycho situation, phase 1, trying to figure out what the hell was going on, because I'm gonna put some of those videos out too, just to let y'all know how it was for me, and that that I wasn't always real calm about it, and how it is when you first become on neuromonitoring and artificial telepathy.